Well, a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning in to this special TV9 Connect webinar. Samajhdaar, Bano, Sehat ke Ishaare Samjho. And it's important we talk about this because India is currently sitting on a ticking health time bomb and we don't even know about it. Nearly 1 in every 4 adults is pre-diabetic. And here's the catch. The symptoms are far too silent, and before we find out, it's already too late, which is why we say, Samajhdaar Raho, Sehat ke Ishaare Samjho. And in this special TV9 Connect webinar, India's top medical experts, we've got 2 of them lined up right here, decode the science, the risks, and the lifestyle changes that can help you reverse this tide before it turns into diabetes. Joining us here on this webinar is Dr. Neeta Deshpande, leading diabetologist and bariatric physician from Belgaum, and Dr. Subhash Wangnoo, senior endocrinologist at Indraprastha Apollo Hospitals, Delhi. A very warm welcome to both of you doctors. It's time to get informed. We've got a lot of people that are joining us here on the webinar. You can simply raise your hand and we'll get your questions answered right here by these experts. It's time to get informed, it's time to get tested, and of course it's time to get ahead of the curve, because when it comes to your health, we take it seriously, and ignorance isn't bliss. It's quite dangerous. Let's throw that proverb out of the window. Dr. Deshpande, let's get the ball rolling here. We've got a lot of people that are also going to be sending in their questions, but before we ask you their questions, let's warm up the table a little bit. They say India is the diabetes capital of the world. Now, in the doctors fraternity, do you think we're doing enough to change this particular title? Over the last 5 years post-pandemic, do you think we've been able to do something to change that title of the diabetes capital of the world?
Yeah, I don't think we are doing enough actually. There is a lot of talk about diabetes, a lot of awareness that is being created. However, what I feel is that a lot more education and awareness needs to be done so that people understand that it is a very serious disease, it can be prevented, and that it can be treated as well. So this needs to go out into the public, and we need to do more where awareness is concerned for people to understand the risks.
All right. Dr. Wangnoo, let me come to you as well. Are there some early warning signs? I mean, can someone know that they are pre-diabetic? I mean, if you have a craving of eating up an entire tub of ice cream in front of the television late at night, something that I did not do last night, are there some other lists, some early warning signs that one can understand and take a note of?
Absolutely. Ideally, if you think the pre-diabetes, even the diabetes, in majority of the patients are asymptomatic. Asymptomatic means they don't have much symptoms which can really warn them that they're going to develop diabetes. Nonetheless, we tell the patient that you are at risk of developing pre-diabetes or diabetes if you are obese, if your body mass index is more than 25, if you have family history of diabetes, anyone in family is having diabetes, if your waist circumference is more than 19 case of male and more than 18 case of females. Number 4, if you lead a sedentary lifestyle, you don't work out normally, you lead a sedentary lifestyle. Obesity, sedentary lifestyle, consumption of the high caloric food, high caloric dense items, and also the fast food items, family history of diabetes, and the high waist circumference, they're all pointers that you should be alert enough to look for that you are not going to have pre-diabetes or diabetes in the near future.
Well, at this point in time, Dr. Deshpande, is it a time for us when, like a household product, you have a Vicks Vapor Rub in every house? Is it now time that we have the blood sugar measurer in every household? Have we come to that now?
No, I don't think we have come to that. I don't think it is necessary to have a glucometer in every home. However, I would say that there has to be a pattern of testing, in the sense that if you're above the age of 30, you have a strong family history, you're obese, you have sedentary behaviors and all the other risk factors, then it's worth your while to check at least once a year in the laboratory what your sugars look like. So I don't think it's time to keep a glucometer in the house, but yes, definitely a yearly check is mandatory after the age of 30 is what I would say.
A yearly check is what, doctor, you're telling us. A glucometer.
Right.
Look at the doctors already schooling me on the topic. My apologies. I was just bringing in layman terms and terminology. Dr. Deshpande, and what is that one lifestyle change? And then, we'll, of course, we'll ask Dr. Subhash as well, that you want every Indian to start making from tomorrow morning.
From tomorrow morning, the one thing that I would like them to start doing is start walking, start moving. That is the one thing I would say. First thing, there are many things one can do, but first things first, just start moving.
What do you say, Dr. Subhash? One change you want every Indian to make, start.
Sleep well, exercise well. These are three important mantras every patient should have to prevent.
Can you repeat that, Dr. Subhash? What three important mantras you're talking about? Repeat that, sir.
Eat well. Eat well means balanced diet. Exercise well means the regular exercise what the doctor tells you. And third important is that sleep well. At least 6 to 8 hours sleep is must for a change in the lifestyle modification.
You know what I make of all of this? I hear the doctor saying you got to take it easy. Eat well and just take it easy. Less stress. I think that's also a factor that one should talk about in 2025. Dr. Deshpande, if a patient says, Doctor, mujhe to sugar kam karni hai. But then again, I love sweets. I like to eat sweets. I have my sugar cravings. There's some guilty pleasures that I can't live without. It's better to not live than to not eat those sweets. How do you convince them? How do you tell them about how dangerous this is without sounding like the food police?
Right. So the thing is that on a lighter note, no pain, no gain. But I would definitely say that one needs to understand the dangers of bad eating behaviors. And there are ways in which you can enjoy your food, but with limits, with substitutions. Like, for example, you substitute one food for another, which gives you the same pleasure, but which is healthier. That is one part of it. And if you really had to indulge, one has to control portion sizes. So there are ways and means of enjoying your life, but with limits, in moderation, and you can still be healthy. So that is what I would say.
Is there an expert on portion sizes? I think that's where most of us, fall out. Is there a particular metric? Do you have that jotted down, doctor? Can you help the viewers here? How much they should be eating? Is there a mantra to this portion game as well?
Yeah, there's a beautiful mantra. It's called the plate method. So if you have a circular plate you eat out of, you divide it into half.
Okay.
50% of it, exactly half of it should be filled with vegetables. The other half, you divide it again into half, so that is 25% each. 25% of it has to be protein, and the other 25% only needs to be the carbs, like your rice, roti, etc. So 25, 25, 50. This mantra, and no second helpings. Secondly, there is a sequence to this. You eat the protein first, the vegetables next, and the cereal, the last 25% last. This is the mantra towards good health, towards preventing diabetes, and towards controlling diabetes as well if you already have it.
Why do you say so, doctor? Why do you want us to consume the protein first and then the veggies later?
Well, a lot of research has shown that your sugar spikes can be blunted if you follow this particular sequence.
All right.
The sugars don't rise as much if you follow this sequence. And there is a physiology to it, because proteins do not need as much insulin to get metabolized. And so your glucose does not spike as much if you eat your proteins first and vegetables next and cereals last. So that is the reason that this sequence matters.
All right. So on the plate, a quarter goes to the carbohydrates, a quarter goes to the protein, and the rest half, the remainder goes all to the vegetables. And eat your proteins, consume your proteins first. But doctor, that plate does not sound like the buffet plate you see out there in all those events.
You can create your own buffet plate.
Yeah, but
Like
then the catch with the buffet is that there are second helpings, and doctor, you said no second helpings on this particular front.
That's why I said there's no pain, there's no gain.
No pain, no gain. All right, Dr. Subhash, is pre-diabetes reversible? I mean, once you've crossed that line, is it one-way sweet street, or can you turn the tide?
Very right. The pre-diabetes the incidence is going like at an alarming pace. 15 to 20% of the adult population are having pre-diabetes. And it is just like you are standing on a crossroads. Either you can go this way and you can develop the full-blown diabetes, or you can go the other way, you can reverse the diabetes. But remember, pre-diabetes can be prevented or can be controlled by way of merely sticking to a exercise regimen and the dietary regimen, what Dr. Neeta told you about the plate method. Of course, if you don't do that, you are going to bound to go into the diabetic state. And there have been two major studies across the whole world. One is the diabetes prevention program, where they have shown exclusively that diet and exercise they prevent the conversion of pre-diabetes to diabetes in the majority of the patient. And the second was a stop DIDM trial, where they have given some patients certain drugs in a pre-diabetic state to prevent the conversion of pre-diabetes into diabetes. Similarly, we have an Indian diabetes prevention program where we are seeing diet, exercise, and in certain patients, coupled with the small dose of the metformin, can prevent the conversion of pre-diabetes to diabetes. Reversal is possible if you are overweight and you have come down to an ideal body weight, your BMI between 23 and 25, you exercise regularly, don't indulge into the sugary items, you can reverse the pre-diabetes into the normal glucose tolerance.
All right. You've made some pertinent points. So there seems to be hope, and I think human beings continue to live on, hope particularly. Dr. Deshpande, if there was a healthy food item Olympics, who would get the gold? What food item would get the gold? Do you have top 5 food items that you could tell people that they could start inculcating in their own diet?
Yes. The top 5 foods, I would say, number 1 is vegetables, and more vegetables of all kinds. And please remember, potato is not a vegetable. The second one is that protein. So this protein can be in the form of non-vegetarian food, eggs. It can be in the form of paneer, tofu, or dals and pulses. The number 3, I would say, in smaller quantities would be the cereals like wheat, jowar, and millets also. I would put them again in the carbs. And lastly, I would say milk and milk products. So in this sequence, I would say that these are the important healthy foods. But mind you, portion sizes matter. So that's what I would say.
All right. We've got some audience questions as well. I'll just quickly ask the control room to tell us who's there with us on the broadcast here. Would you please unmute yourself and ask your question? Can we put them on air? Mayank is with us. Mayank Pandey is with us. Mayank, can you please unmute yourself and ask your questions? We've got Dr. Subhash and Dr. Neeta Deshpande. They'll take your questions, please.
Okay. Hi, my name is Mayank. I'm 40 and I'm diabetic for last 10 years, and my latest HbA1c is 7.2. And my question is, my father is also diabetic and it's been 30 years, and he has a chronic disease called edema, which occurs in the eye retina. So he is going under, routine injection treatment in the retina. So doctor says it's a long-term diabetic disease which occurs after uncontrolled diabetic situation for a very, very long time. So there are chances कि मुझे भी वो eye treatment के through गुजरना पड़ सकता है. Although I'm taking care, I'm taking the best care of myself, going gym, regular walks, avoiding, sugary items and all that. क्योंकि मैंने वो देखा है, it's a very painful treatment. So I don't want to get into that. So what should I do?
That's a great question. Who's going to take it? Dr. Deshpande, Dr. Subhash, who wants it?
Yeah. Let me first answer then. It is very important that the prevention of the long-term metabolic complications are important in every diabetic patient. And what I should suggest, Mayank, that the best way to prevent the long-term complication is to keep your HbA1c around 7, keep your blood pressure around 140/80 or 90, and keep your bad cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, to less than 90. Because Even the eye changes, the diabetic retinopathy, your cholesterol has to be normal in order to prevent the development of the eye changes. So remember, if you are able to maintain your weight, HbA1c, lipid profile, as well as the blood pressure, you are going to prevent the ongoing or the long-term metabolic complication. That is the only way you can prevent the development of the eye complication in the long run. Over to Neeta.
All right. Many thanks, Doctor. Dr. Deshpande, what's your take on the matter?
Yeah, so research has shown that just like diabetes is passed on in the generations, so also diabetic kidney disease, which we call diabetic nephropathy, is known to run in families. But having said that, whether it is diabetic kidney disease or diabetic eye disease, the one and only way to prevent it is to keep your HbA1c under control and to keep your blood sugars under control 24/7. That's the only way one can prevent complications from happening. And the second way is to keep checking and rechecking for early signs, because early diabetic eye disease can be treated much better and further progression can be prevented.
What are some of those early signs, Doctor? Let's quickly race past those as well.
Those can only be checked on what we call a fundoscopy or a retina check. One
All
needs to
right.
go for a retina check at least once a year, maybe more, to look for subtle signs like small bleeding spots that are seen. And nowadays, you can just go and get a fundus photograph also, and that will show you whether you have any of these. And if early signs are there, even better care can be taken.
All right, then. Mayank, I hope that answers your questions, both the doctors and experts with us. And questions are coming in through quick and fast. We've got Amit Qazi, who's with us also on the webinar. Amit, if you can also unmute yourself and ask your question. Over to you, Amit.
Hi, my name is Amit. My mother is also a diabetic and she stays in Kashmir. Her age is nearly 70. She does all the exercises and take all the major precautions for this. How often should I check her blood sugar levels and what are the target ranges I should aim for?
Okay, the best way, if you are asking for your mom, is what target sugar you want to attain and how often you want to check the blood sugar. You know, the HbA1c target is not same for all the ages. The target changes that you want to have a stringent control with HbA1c or less than 7. We tell if the age is less than 40 years. But if you have got more than 60 years, if you have got some comorbid condition, the target changes anywhere between 7 to 7.5, even up to 8 in elderly patient. Because it has been seen at this age, a strict, stringent diabetes control is not going to help much. In fact, some of the trials have shown that in an elderly, if you keep a HbA1c around 6.5, they are liable to get some cardiovascular complication. Now, coming to the how often you should check the blood sugar, that depends whether your mom is on the insulin or the oral drugs, she is on 2 doses of insulin or multiple doses. Ideally, we tell the patient if the sugar is stable and is not having any fluctuation, your monitoring twice in a week is enough. Every third day you can check morning and evening, that's okay. Or there is some what you call the scattered monitoring of the blood sugar. One day you can check fasting, other day you can check pre-lunch, third day you can check pre-dinner, or some other day you can have post-breakfast, post-lunch, or post. It's a scattered monitoring. If the sugars are stable, that also helps. We don't have to prick every time 2 or 3 times in a day. You can just prick once in a day, but at different timings during the day. That is the best way to see whether the patient is under target blood sugar or not.
Well, but technology is helping us on this front as well. These days, you've got a plethora of applications that help you with, understanding these fluctuations, because data becomes key with each of these recordings. Amit, I'm going to request you to turn on your camera as well before I let Dr. Deshpande, give her opinion on this particular front. Dr. Deshpande, please.
Yeah. So testing depends upon where the patient is at that time. Number one, is the patient is on insulin? Is the patient on oral drugs? Has the patient had very stable sugars over the last 6 months? Does the patient also have diabetic kidney disease? So if the person has diabetic kidney disease, for example, liable to a lot of low sugar attacks, then the frequency of monitoring may be almost every day. But if the sugars are extremely stable and the patient is just on 1 or 2 tablets, even once in 15 days is sufficient. So it all depends upon, there is no standard methodology for when to test and how many times to test. It all depends upon that patient's position at that time.
All right, so timing becoming of key significance here. All right, we're going to continue to take some of those audience questions as well, but let's bring back some of my own question back. All right, I've been told that Abhishek is with us on the broadcast. Abhishek, can you please unmute yourself and also turn on your camera so that we can broadcast and bring you really onto the table? It's going to be great to have your face on this webinar as well. What's your question? Over to you, Abhishek. Please put it.
सर मेरा नाम अभिषेक है। मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जैसे डायबिटीज़ के जो पेशेंट हैं जिनको कई सालों से डायबिटीज़ है, जैसे 10 20 या 30 साल से, तो पेशेंट लगातार अलग तरह की दवाई खाते हैं अपने शुगर लेवल को कंट्रोल करने के लिए। तो जैसे बाकी दवाइयों के साइड इफेक्ट देखे जाते हैं कि लॉन्ग टर्म में किडनी पे इफेक्ट पड़ता है या फिर लीवर पे इफेक्ट पड़ता है, क्या या एक्सपायर्ड या जो भी डायबिटीज़ के लिए दवाइयाँ हैं, इंसुलिन है, लॉन्ग टर्म्स लेने से क्या इनके भी साइड इफेक्ट होते हैं?
Well, that's a great question, Dr. Subhash, Dr. Deshpande. Who wants to take this hot potato?
It's a great question. See, people have a lot of sort of a wrong conception about the metformin. They Google it, they see that the metformin has got a lot of side effects. But remember, metformin is the only drug which has been time tested, the oldest drug, and has very good metabolic actions on all parts of the body. So what I will tell you, you should not worry if you are taking long-term metformin, as long your estimated glomerular filtration rate is above 60. You know, depending on the kidney function test, eGFR is very easy to calculate to the apps on your mobile smartphone. If it is more than 60, if you are taking even metformin for decades together, you can continue metformin without any problem. But as long over a period of time when the eGFR starts decreasing over a period of time, less than 60, between 45 to 60, or less than 45 or less than 30. If your GFR goes less than 30, metformin should be stopped immediately. It is contraindicated. But anywhere it is between 45 to 60, you can take the metformin on the half the dose. But as long you are maintaining your renal function, the renal function tests are normal, the GFR is more than 60, you can safely continue metformin even throughout your life.
All right. Dr. Deshpande, do answer Abhishek's question, but, from what I understood, it seems like there's a lot of ifs and buts. Will I have to always carry this manual of ifs and buts when I'm trying to understand diabetes? I know it's a long journey. It will educate me on the way as well. But seems like too many ifs and buts, too much of medical terminology at play. Is the layman out there even aware of all of this?
Well, the layman need not be aware fully of all the nitty-gritties of which drug can be used when. There are doctors for that. What they need to know is when they need to go and check, when they need to go and see the doctor, and what they need to do with their lifestyle. But having said that, coming back to metformin, I would like to say that metformin is one of the safest drugs that mankind has ever known. It's been around for more than 50, 60 years. It has been shown to be helpful not just in diabetes, but in PCOS. Some people say it increases longevity, anti-aging, anti-cancer effects, and so many other things are there with metformin. There's evidence for all of that. Of course, there are contraindications, and doctors are well aware of it, and they will not give the drug if any of those contraindications exist. But barring those, metformin is one of the safest drugs one can keep on taking lifelong, barring the contraindications, as I already mentioned.
All right, interesting take. Abhishek, I hope that answers your questions. All right, the control room, do we have any more audience questions? All right, Kehkasha is with us. Kehkasha, please, can you unmute yourself and turn on your camera? We're going to beam your pictures live on this webinar. You can ask Dr. Subhash with us, Dr. Deshpande. The table is certainly warm. Kehkasha, can you hear us? Over to you.
Yes, sir.
प्लीज अपना सवाल पूछिए।
जी, तो मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि सोशल मीडिया पे हम कई सारे ट्रेंड देखते हैं, जिसमें एक ट्रेंड मैंने देखा था अभी हाल में कि नीम की पत्ती के पानी में अगर हम नीम के पत्ती के पानी में अगर हम पैर डाल के बैठते हैं तो उससे हमारा ब्लड शुगर जो है वो कंट्रोल होता है। तो क्या ऐसे ट्रेंड जो है वो हमें बिना डॉक्टर की सलाह के फॉलो करने चाहिए, और अगर इससे ब्लड कंट्रोल होता है तो कैसे होता है?
Kehkashan, first and foremost, I thank you for asking this question even before the doctors do, because this is a very important question. From real to reality, so much of prescriptions are being meted out on social media. So Kehkashan has a major and important point. What do we do here on this front?
So, Kakasha, I will tell you, I told earlier also that our social life is totally not dependent on so many of the social media apps, whether it's Googling, WhatsApp, everything. And I will tell you one thing, this has spread so much of misinformation and the misconception among the minds of the people that they start treating themselves based on the Google knowledge. And sometimes the patient comes to my OPD, they tell, doctor, can you give me this medicine I read in the Google? Then I tell the patient, okay, take your treatment from the Google, why you come and taking my advice? All these alternative methods of controlling blood sugar, which are very prevalent and widely being popularized in the social media, are not scientifically based. You told me that dipping your hand in the neem water will control the blood sugar. Absolutely not. Blood sugar is a disease which has got certain underlying etiology, it is an autoimmune etiology. Only the lifestyle changes, the medicines will be able to control the blood sugar. Of course, there are certain alternative medicines which are shown to be as a dietary adjuncts along with the medicine your doctor is being prescribed. Like people say, fenugreek seeds are important. High fiber intake is sometimes very important. So these are some scientifically based alternative medicines in Ayurveda also, but it is not as a curative or the treatment aspect. It has to be taken as a dietary adjunct along with your doctor's medical advice.
Well, great word. Dr. Deshpande, do you have a social media account? These days, I see a lot of doctors making use of social media, and I wouldn't use the word exploit. Everybody's doing it for their political mileage and, of course, a commercial business. But what is your personal take on this front?
My personal take is that doctors like us should use social media for creating awareness and education. I wouldn't call it exploitation, like you said. Having said that, to answer the question that just came in, the answer is that all that is herbal is not entirely safe. So one has to proceed with caution. That is number one. Secondly, the problem is that a lot of people start to take this and then do not monitor their blood sugars and stop taking the drugs that the doctor gave them. And this puts them in a very, very risky position because they think that the herbal thing is working and they have stopped these and they are not monitoring. So I would say proceed with caution, keep monitoring your blood sugars, and then see how it goes and disclose to your doctors what you are doing, because there could be a lot of interactions between that herbal medicine and what you are taking.
Well, that's a great word. Kehkashan, I hope this answers your questions as well. Ashok is now with us on the webinar. Ashok, please unmute yourself. Please turn on your camera. It seems like the snowball is going, it's getting bigger. I hope the docs are having fun with us on the broadcast as well. Ashok, please ask your question.
Hi, Doctor. Doctor, my question is like, I'm 45-year-old and I'm a diabetic too. So recently, probably a couple of weeks back, I got the, blood sugar test done. The HbA1c was about, below 6.4 to 6.5. So I'm taking this, the glycepride plus metformin combination beside him. So just wanted to check, is it advisable to take the continuation of the tablet, or should I, discontinue it, or should I consult my doctor? What do you suggest, doctor? That's my question.
All right, doctors, who wants to take this one? All right, Dr. Subhash, go ahead.
So you have, first of all, congratulations. You have maintained your HbA1c very good, and you have to keep it up in the future also. Don't change your medicine. Don't stop your medicine. But you have to be on the regular follow-up with your doctor, because what happens, diabetes is a progressive disorder. this HbA1c, which is very good, excellent right now, may not be the same after a period of 6 months or 1 year or 2 years. So you have to be in the regular touch or the regular follow-up of your doctor, because diabetes is a progressive disease. You need to have some modification in your treatment schedule over a period of time by checking your blood sugar frequently, checking your HbA1c every 3 to 6 months, and taking the advice of your doctor every 3 to 6 months, so that you are able to keep the HbA1c on the target below 7 over the long period of time. So this is very important, regular follow-up and keeping in touch with your doctor. Otherwise, sometimes you'll end up with a high HbA1c suddenly after a couple of years, and then you'll say why I was not very curious, very cautious about seeing my doctor regularly and doing my monitoring regularly, right?
All right. Dr. Deshpande?
Yes, so that's a very good thing that the blood sugars are coming down. So when blood sugars start to come down, doctors do something called as de-prescribing. That means reducing your medications based on your blood sugars. But please remember, just as prescribing is done by doctors, de-prescribing also should be done by doctors and not by patients themselves. So if you need to de-escalate your therapy, a doctor has to do it, and it can be done if your lifestyle and your eating habits have really improved.
Well, all right. It's not like the YouTube channel where you can unsubscribe. This is not in your own hands. And on that note, I'm going to urge everybody to subscribe to our mediaverse here, TV9 Connect. You know what I feel like, doctors? I feel like I'm the receptionist at our cute little clinic that we're trying to decode diabetes at. A lot of people have joined us on the broadcast. One by one, questions will come in thick and fast. I had my own question, to ask before, in the middle of all of these people who are joining us. Many thanks for joining us here on the broadcast as well. TV9 Connect's webinar on Samajhdaar, Bano, Sehat ke Ishaare Samjho. And that's what we're trying to do here. I hope the doctors are also having fun on this webinar. It's great that you're answering all these questions. I had one question as well. On dinner tables, there becomes a little bit of a food taboo, because we all have that one relative who ends up saying, "Mere zamane mein koi diet shite nahi hoti thi." And now when we're talking about India being the diabetic capital of the world, and we're also doing the best that we can to cater to that problem, to mitigate that problem, prevent that problem, how do you counter that argument without starting a family argument? Because food is a touchy topic at home, and you don't want dinners to turn into family arguments. But you also want to tell them how serious pre-diabetes is a problem.
I think, Kabir, is a very good question, that food has become a taboo, and when the patient is diagnosed to be having diabetes, so the first thing comes to, oh, I can't eat anything. I have developed diabetes. What I'm going to do? Everybody in the family is enjoying sweets, everything, but I'm not able to do anything. So nowadays, whenever the patient comes to me with a gloomy face, "Hey, doc, I have developed diabetes, nobody is allowing me to even eat rice, potatoes, and any other sugary item, even the sweet fruits like mango, banana, anything," that is the, please relax. Now the food taboo should be removed from your mind. A diabetic diet is a healthy diet. You can eat each and everything in the prescribed portion, but avoid taking the direct sugar. And what the direct sugar means sugars, sweets, ice cream, cold drink, chocolates. These are big no-no, because these give the instant calories and they tend to increase the blood sugar instantly. But all other food items can be taken and can be enjoyed. There should be no taboo. And every diabetic, small, frequent meals, little bit of fiber, high fiber. Neeta told about the plate method, about the diet. Even all the fruits are allowed in diabetes, but in a portion, the quantity and how much calories you are getting from the fruits. For example, I tell my patient, you can enjoy mango, you can take banana, but it should be around that the calories coming from the fruit should not go more than 250 calories. You can take one slice of the mango or half banana equivalent to the, if you are taking one full apple or the pear or the guava. So, not removed among the minds. It should be a healthy, balanced diet. A diabetic patient can eat everything except the direct sugar. He should not be afraid that I can't eat anything. It has
Absolutely.
to be
So
balanced.
don't be afraid of anything. And I think it's great disservice to any human who's born on this planet to not be able to eat all of these fruits that the nature bestows upon us so fruitfully, just like the mango itself. Doctor, before you answer, we've got Namrata, who's with us on the webinar. Namrata, can you please unmute yourself and turn on your camera? We'll take your question next. Over to you, Namrata. Can you hear us in the studio?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask doctor. So I have a genetic history, family history of diabetes. Currently, my blood sugar is in control. But what is that we can avoid so that we don't carry these genes probably, or my next generation doesn't carry those genes? Is there any answer to this?
Well, $1 million question. Even I'm intrigued at this one, doctors. What do you have to say? Dr. Deshpande will give you the first crack at it.
Right. So the only way that you can prevent the tendency or prevent diabetes and pre-diabetes itself is by controlling your weight and being very, very active. If you are at a body mass index that is less than 23, or try to get back, come down from wherever you are at, that's the only way that you can prevent diabetes from happening. Because you bring down your weight, you make sure you don't get a fatty liver. If you don't have a fatty liver, you don't have insulin resistance, and that way you are preventing diabetes. So the only way you can do that is keeping your weight in check and making sure that you're moving enough and being physically active.
That's a great shout. Dr. Subhash, what's your take?
Absolutely same. I think that maintaining the ideal body weight is a must for every patient to prevent the future development of diabetes. Exercising regularly is another key factor to maintain the body weight. And regarding the diet, I always told you that try to avoid the direct sugars, the high calorie dense food items, the fast food items, if you want to even able to maintain body weight and prevent the development of diabetes in the near future. Diet, exercise is an important key factor in controlling or preventing the diabetes in the near future if you have a family history of diabetes. And second thing, what I told, the waist circumference, it is not the BMI alone or the weight and BMI alone. Now we are taking the quantum of the fat deposition around the belly, which is a bad metabolic fat. Your waist circumference should not go more than 80 centimeters in case of female. And if you are able to maintain that, at least you are going to have a healthy, even if you are overweight BMI, you can be having a healthy obesity. And even if you have normal BMI, you can be having normal BMI obesity with bad metabolic fat. It is very, very important where the fat is. Bad fat is in the liver, in the pancreas, in the heart, even in the brain. It is called ectopic fat, which is really bad for the future development of diabetes. If you are able to cut down or reduce the fat around the liver, around the pancreas, around the heart, you'll be able to prevent the future development of diabetes.
All right. What a great riveting discussion we're having. Like I've been saying, I feel like this is already turned into the TV9 Connect clinic, and people are coming in fast and through with their questions. But I think we'll have to stop at that. If I could simplify what we've discussed over here is that there is always a glimmer of hope. You can always get yourself tested and checked. There is no need to get anxious or panicked at any point in time. Just keep a tab on your waist, keep a tab on your diet. And the doctors have already said that the first thing that you should start doing tomorrow is to start walking. Thanks to so many people that have joined us here on the TV9 Connect webinar, Samajhdaar, Bano, Sehat ke Ishaare Samjho, because it's important we continue to answer these questions and continue to identify what our body is also trying to tell us. Dr. Subhash, Dr. Deshpande, many thanks for joining us here on TV9 Connect. We're going to continue to talk about various other topics, ladies and gentlemen, here, right here on TV9 Connect, Samajhdaar Bano, Sehat ke Ishaare Samjho. Next time, this time it was diabetes. Next time, it's going to be another set of expert panelists. We're going to pick up something totally different, because our health is in our hands, but it's also important that we continue to talk about this. Many thanks for watching. We'll catch you up again. Hello, to very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning in to this special